Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, we had a bit of a medical emergency on board the cruise, and guess what? It was somebody in my group. So that's right, here we are on the Caribbean Princess, and last evening I received a text message from somebody in my group who was having a medical emergency. Now, we were actually, Tony and I, having lunch after getting back last night in the buffet, and they called for medical team to deck 15 in the buffet. So that's where, and it turned out that was someone from my group. Now, they called me and told me that they're doing fine and they're there, but they relayed a story to me about something. And the first thing they said was, thank you for making sure we had insurance. So let me tell you the story of what can happen in this case. So I did go down to the medical center and I sat with them for a while. They're fine. They were supposed to be released the next morning. They were going to be kept overnight for observation, but they were doing so well and all their blood work and their tests came back and they were fine. They were responding fine. Everything looked good. That they said, okay, you can enjoy your evening. We'll release you, but please check in with us tomorrow to make sure you're okay. And so they did, and they were fine. So there's no emergency that way. They're fine. They're doing fine, which is really relieved. But there was a story with this. Now, in case you don't know, even if you get insurance through the cruise lines, you often still have to guarantee and pay for the medical services until you get paid by the insurance company. Now, for instance, if you were going into hospital or anything, then obviously they would immediately contact the insurance company and the insurance company would start looking and handling things. But something for an overnight or, you know, a quick emergency on board where everything's fine and you don't have to go to hospital, then you usually have to turn in an insurance policy. They'll give you all the paperwork here on the ship and things like that. But you normally have to pay, and then the insurance refunds you the money. That's one way. So in this case, what normally would happen is, say the bill is $3,000, then you would have to pay the $3,000, fill in the paperwork, and turn it in to your insurance company. They would review it and then pay your money back. That's the way it works. However, sometimes you don't have $3,000. What happens if this was $7,000, for instance? Do you happen to have $7,000 on you to pay your insurance? The good thing is when you're through a cruise line's insurance, and they know, this way they know you have insurance, it's a trusted insurance because it's the cruise line's insurance. Now, when I say it's the cruise line's insurance, please don't get me wrong, it's not a Princess insurance policy. It's another insurance company that, you know, partners with Princess to provide the insurance company. Every cruise line deals with somebody. Royal Caribbean Celebrities, most of them deal with Aon, but there are some cruise lines that deal with other agencies out there. So when I say Princess Insurance, that just means they bought it through Princess when they signed up. And as you know, I book everybody with insurance, and you have to tell me if you don't want it, because I don't want to be responsible for you not having insurance. And I make sure I have that in writing, you're requesting no insurance. So that's one thing I do when I'm doing all of my bookings, including my groups that I have on board. Well, when you're on board, if you've gone through the cruise lines, what they can often do, instead of you having to shell out $7,000 on your credit card and maxing out your credit cards and things like that, is they would just have you sign a promissory note saying that you will pay for the medical, you know, once you have been, you know, once you have turned in your insurance and been paid by the insurance company. Because they know you have insurance, they know what your medical is and what happened, so they know whether or not it's covered. So obviously they know that, you know, in this case it was something that they had to do. It's going to be covered, and so you will get your money back that way. Just sign a promissory note saying you'll pay us once the insurance company pays you, because they don't want people going and leaving the ship and then not paying the cruise line for the medical services they received and just keeping the insurance from the insurance company, because then you have to go for lawyers and all things like that. Well, if you sign a promissory note and you have your signature on it, you're not going to win any lawsuit. You try and avoid getting that money to the insurance company. So again, just another reason to have insurance. First off, I say it all, you know, get the insurance where you want, where you feel comfortable with. Some people don't like the amount that the insurance companies cost, but this is kind of like a shore excursion through a cruise line. You're guaranteed certain privileges when you get the insurance contract through the cruise lines. In this case, instead of having to contact the other insurance company and make sure they're going to pay and all that, the cruise line just said, here, sign this paper, we'll look after you, you pay us back when you get paid. If you have to go through another party that you booked yourself, you've got to make all those arrangements yourself, whether you're in hospital doing it or not. And if they say, well, we'll have to review it before well, the cruise line may say, yeah, great, but you owe us $7,000 and the medical bills are keeping on going until we get paid, kind of thing. And you can't even sometimes be released until you promise and show a way to pay for the money. Look at the lady who was stuck in Mexico. They wouldn't let her out of the hospital after surgery until she can come up with the money for the bill. And the longer they're there, the longer and higher that bill got. So in this case, going through Princess was a good idea for the insurance. Simple solution. Sorry, I don't have the money. What the figures I'm quoting are just figures I pulled out of the air. So it's not the actual bills that Princess was charging. So yeah, it is a benefit, but it costs a little more, right? Through the insurance company will probably cost you more than if you went to a third party and booked it yourself. However, it does come with benefits. And in this case, it saved them needing any money right now. They can still enjoy the cruise, don't have to worry about anything. They'll fill in the insurance policy, they have all the paperwork, and then they will pay back the cruise line when they get their money. So yeah, I'm glad. I'm pretty forceful when I tell people to get insurance, because this is the second group in a row I've had an incident on the cruise ship where people needed the medical insurance. So I'm really glad that people are taking my advice. What do you guys think? Do you think maybe spending a few extra dollars on the cruise line insurance, now that you know that you might have to shell out the money yourself once something happens, or are you still going to look for the cheaper route for your insurance? I know lots of people go both. I've gotten private insurance myself when I thought the insurance was just way too high on a particular cruise. But I also have year-long insurance, so I'm protected either way. But yes, I would have had to come up with the money myself also if I didn't have Princess Insurance, if I was the person that needed the medical attention. Let me know in the comments down below, and until next time, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel blogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation. We're having a pretty good darn one on this cruise.